welcome back to another episode of Exploring Careers in Tech. It's been a while, and we're back with another season, and I have a special guest today. She's in the governance and risk compliance sector, and she's going to be telling us a little bit more about her career. Can you please just introduce yourself?
Okay, hi Leslie. My name is Sandika. Yes, I currently work at MultiChoice as a senior manager for IT, governance, risk and compliance. But maybe let me start a little from when I was a bit younger.
Okay.
I had a very logical mind.
Yes.
Always did well with maths, and I could program very well on computers. So, but I also had a side to me, a very creative side as well. So I treaded this fine line between the two, and it was very difficult to figure out what to do with my life. But I'm one of those people that actually has a career that I've carved out for myself.
Okay.
So I studied a BSc in computer science and applied maths.
Okay.
Applied maths because I think I was just good at it.
Smart.
Computer science because that's probably where I thought the jobs were at the time. And it's just unfortunate that your first job actually dictates how your career path will plan out.
Yeah.
And my first job was at KPMG.
Okay, yeah.
I didn't even know what KPMG did, by the way.
Exactly.
I had no idea. I thought that the only thing I could do coming out of varsity was to be a developer, to be a programmer. That is pretty much what we were trained to do in university as well.
Yeah, definitely.
And then I came into KPMG, there was nothing to program. Nothing. That's not what we do. They send you out to clients and you have to actually give them advice from an IT perspective.
Okay.
So whether it's governance or risk management, or if they are deploying a new tool, you help them with that. If they are trying to manage large projects, you'll help them with project risk management, identify any vulnerabilities in the environment, help them mature their security and compliance to frameworks and legislation. So it was great because I was this 21-year-old girl talking to CIOs.
Oh, nice.
And I looked very small. You can see my frame now. I looked even younger.
Yeah, definitely.
And
you still look 21.
I looked even younger and skinnier. And, I think a lot of people did question my ability to be there.
Okay.
Especially in this male-dominated space. You'd walk into areas where people have been there for decades, and they've been working on a system for decades, and here you are telling them that what you're doing is wrong. Yes, you tell them what you're doing is wrong, and they come to you with like, says who?
Ooh,
like, where did you get this experience from to come and tell me this is wrong? It helped develop a very thick skin, but also that exposure compared to just sitting and developing, the exposure of dealing with all of these individuals. High-profile individuals. You learn business very quickly. You learn why IT is important to business very quickly. And also, you learn about lots of different technologies and like literally every sphere of technology because you go out to different clients all the time. I think that I wasn't sure where to from there, right? I think it was just a matter of I had a lot of experience in the banking sector. I've moved around quite a bit. And I was in IT audit, which was also, it also teaches you to have very thick skin because you have to tell people that what they're doing is wrong. And you literally have to sell that to them. And they don't want to listen to you because you telling, it's not that they don't agree with you, but sometimes it has a reputational impact on them because their bosses are going to say, why didn't you pick this up? Why didn't you fix it? But right now I've moved out of IT audit, internal audit, and I've moved into governance, risk and compliance. Okay. So the difference is where I was the person talking to, where was the person going and looking for what do you have in place? I have to now be the person that puts those things in place.
Okay.
So that so usually the IT guys are very technical. They're not going to know how to write a policy. Their job is to keep a system up and running.
Yeah.
So my job is to come and say, how do I help you? How do I improve your processes? How do I make sure that there's controls in place?
Nice.
Now, that brings me to where I am right now, with my career, my 9 to 5.
Yeah.
But I'm sure you know that I have other
Yeah,
side
endeavors,
hustle, right?
definitely. You
So-
need a side hustle. You always
Side
need a
hustle.
side hustle.
So the nice thing about being part of audit is that it taught me this oversight, this like a bird's eye view
Yeah, an
over
overarching.
everything,
Yeah.
overarching, and call it oversight
Yeah.
of the organization. And when you're in audit, you don't necessarily, you're independent. You're not the one you're not the one doing the work, you're not the one defending the work. You're actually independent. You can independently say, this is not working, this is, and this is what. I mean, you wouldn't give an opinion over what we should do, but that led me to exploring how boards work.
Okay.
And so the board is basically a bunch of people sitting at a level that is not part of the organization. They're not employees of the organization, but they are there to ensure that your shareholder and your other stakeholders' interests are being met.
Okay.
And that the organization is being run.
Yeah, making money, basically.
Making money, but within the right governance. So, for
okay.
example, we can't make money unethically.
Oh,
right?
I see.
So there's a lot of things that go on there. And through my audit experience, I started actually getting involved on boards and board subcommittees.
Okay.
So that was very intentional as well, where I would say, this is the experience that I want, and I would approach an organization or apply to an organization until I got an opportunity and worked really, really well at proving myself and gaining that experience. And that is how I have managed to go from just playing in a voluntary space to now actually getting paid for it and being a board chairperson right now.
Oh, wow. That's massive. Definitely.
I was actually a board chairperson. I was appointed the board chairperson before I was 40.
40.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
wow.
I was appointed as a board member before I was 35. And sometimes I don't think this is my life, right?
Yeah.
I just think this is normal.
You get the imposter syndrome type thing.
Not even imposter. I think because it's me, so I just feel like everything's ordinary. I'm just a normal person,
Oh,
just
really?
like everyone
I
else.
see, I see.
And then when I unpack it with someone like you, and I give those stats,
Yeah, they are like...
that board members are generally in their 60s and their 70s.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a retirement role. It's a part-time thing that they do after they've had years of tangible outcomes to prove as an executive. That's when they become a board member. And I've been able to do this at a relatively young age.
Yeah, definitely.
Which also comes with its challenges too.
Yeah. So do you feel like you kind of you had to grow up too fast to kind of meet those roles that you kind of acquired, or like you had to make yourself like step up to the plate type thing?
I think with the nice thing about me is that I always had this confidence. I think it's because I'm very extroverted and I'm always outspoken and I'll always talk to people and I engage in people. Like I say, people, my strength is people. I can even get people to tell me their deepest, darkest secrets.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I think
relate to that.
I think that with a lot of people that may have lacked confidence, I was maybe one step ahead of that, because I already came with that. That doesn't mean I'm overly confident. Doesn't mean that I'm always, sure of myself.
Yeah.
I do get stressed and I get overwhelmed like everyone else.
So what boosts, where does your confidence come from? What do you think you have an upper hand in terms of your confidence? Because a lot of young people have that problem, like to put themselves out there. That's why they don't get those like big Cs like you, a board member and all that. They kind of like want to keep in and put their head down, and also trying not to be too like cocky or something like that. Where do you think you get your confidence from?
I think for me, it's understanding my purpose, right? So there's nothing wrong with putting your head down and doing your work. If that's what you want to do, then that's great. But if you have a higher purpose than that and you see yourself going to a more senior next level, then you have to actually do something about it. So sometimes we do want to not raise our hand in a meeting, or we don't want to ask a question, or we don't want to come across as stupid. We don't want people to judge us. And it's a fine line between that and actually being memorable.
Okay.
So if you look at like I am one of those people. I think I walk into a room and then people know me when I leave, and if I want them to.
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
So there are times where maybe it's not my place to be the one that's speaking all the time, then I'll keep quiet. But if there's a time where I need people to know me and to remember my name, you will know that there are other people who will probably call me by my name.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? So I don't even have to say my own name. I will, if I'm in a training session, I will ask a question. Sometimes I'm asking that question because I want to stand out from everybody else.
Okay.
I will introduce myself to people. So those are but it's the why, right, that gets you to the action.
Okay.
But it's also playing to your own strengths. So my strength is people. So you ask me, where do I get that confidence?
Yeah.
I don't even think it's confidence. I think it's encouragement.
Okay.
Which boosts the confidence.
All right.
So I talk to people all the time, and I'll tell them I'm so stressed out. I've got this problem, I've got that problem. And as you're talking to people, people are going to be like, but you got this.
You got this.
Right?
Encourage you.
Or they'll tell you, this is what I think you should do. Or they'll tell you, I also had the same problem. Or maybe they're just talking and there's no solution. But by virtue of you talking, of me at least, talking about it, I've been thinking.
Okay.
Right? And then that makes me a little more confident because it means I'm more prepared at each step of the way. I'm always prepared. The other one, preparation. If you are sometimes you might not be confident because you don't want to sound stupid, right?
Yeah, definitely.
But if you've already prepared,
you know what you're saying.
Then you know what you're saying, right? And now what's holding you back is the self-doubt and the imposter syndrome. So, but let's leave that. Everyone has that. So now let's talk about the fact that you are prepared. So at least you have, one upper hand.
You know what you're, exactly.
So I always say that the preparation is really, really important. And you can see the difference between someone who is prepared versus somebody who comes in on charm and charisma.
Okay. So they give like the false confidence type thing.
Yes, and then you call them arrogant, right? Or you call them, what do you call those people that come in just flashy and...
Yeah, kind of cocky.
Yeah, like cocky, yeah.
I see. So like, my question for you, Sandika, is like, I know you are like very active on LinkedIn and you like kind of like big there. Congratulations, by the way, that you reached 15,000 followers. Hopefully, though, after this interview, it will be 16K. But like, my question to you is like, LinkedIn, everyone uses it every day. Like literally everyone, as soon as they graduate, that's where they want to get to. How do you kind of like make yourself seen on there? And I know you're very active. You told me like you post almost every day and you're very consistent with it. What advice would you give to someone that's like coming out of college and they have that green sticker on there, open to work, and they don't really know what they're trying to do, or like they just started computer science. I also studied computer science myself, but I didn't know like, okay, what do I want to do like with this computer science, or what jobs are there? I didn't even know that GRC is a career. Like there's no subject that's called governance risk as compliance in any college. So how do you kind of make yourself seen? And the other thing is like, how do you kind of differentiate yourself, like to kind of have the right network and the right people like you following you, connecting with you?
So I think sometimes when people look at me with LinkedIn and even with my board roles, they assume it happened overnight.
Yeah.
So I want to tell you a story that starts from way before that.
Yeah.
Firstly, you have to understand who you want to be seen to. So who do you want to be seen? Like go back to your why. Yeah. Like, is it that you are trying to get a job? Yeah. Or do you already have a job and you're trying to get to the next level and you need people to actually see you as worthy enough to get to the next level? Like what exactly are you doing? And then from there, craft that strategy and you create a brand based on that. It doesn't have to be LinkedIn. By the way, it doesn't even have to be on a social media platform. It can be word of mouth. It really just depends on what the purpose is. Now, I also want to go back to, we must play to our strengths, right? I told you about the people thing was a strength for me.
Yeah.
For social media, it's actually very much an introverted strength, right? So I don't know if you remember, like way back when like Twitter came out, a lot of the people that had really large followings were people who were very socially awkward in real life because they couldn't actually hold conversations with people.
People in real life.
So they
online.
they go online, and which is great because they've built their presence in a different way. Now we are in a digital world, so we can't get around that, right? We have to look at what are people watching, what are people doing, how are they interacting with people. Now, I already knew how to navigate the world of social media way before I went onto LinkedIn. So when LinkedIn came out, I think I was like everybody else, went onto LinkedIn just there for my CV, so that if someone looks me up, they can see what I've done. But I was very active on Twitter. I used to blog. I used to go to events. I used to blog about those events. I used to do restaurant reviews and food reviews, and there were other like platforms that I would do that in. So I already knew about the art of posting and getting people to read and engagement and also being able to hook an audience. So I already knew that, but I also constantly learn, and I constantly learn to see how can things change. So you'll see, like, even with YouTube, like what people were watching back then versus what hooks people now is different. It's always changing. So you have to see how do you grab that attention. Exactly. But again, it depends on what you are doing. Like, why do you want a following? If you want to be seen as a thought leader, then great. This is the perfect platform for you to write your thoughts. It's free and put it out there. Before, if you wanted to be known as a thought leader, it had to be published in a publication somewhere. Now you can just self-publish it. So when somebody searches on a topical item, your LinkedIn article
could pop up.
So I think for me, it would be a strategy. To anyone that wants to know, how do you build that brand? We craft the strategy based on what you are intending to do. Why do you want that profile? Why do you want it to be there?
Okay, I see. Maybe another question I would have is, so for anyone that's like still starting up, confused of like their purpose of what are they supposed to be doing, because usually people even do what their parents tell them to do for college, and then you end up like getting a job that in it completely different, like unlike you, for example, like you already had that planned, but like some people just do a degree just for the sake of doing that degree. Do you think it's possible for someone that didn't go the same route that you did to get to the point that you are?
Oh, of course, there's many people that have done it, actually.
And so, how do you think you can navigate yourself to that?
So even me in GRC, by the way, when I got this job in GRC, I had never done GRC work before. I had never written a policy before. Like, it was very overwhelming to think that somebody actually trusted me enough to bring me into this role. So I think what doesn't change are your skill set. Right, we have certain skills that we can transfer into any other role, and that skills could be from when you're in school, when you're in varsity, in your other jobs. So you got to think, like, let's say you want to come into GRC, or let's say you want to come into security, right? But you are a lawyer. Yeah, that's a classic example of someone you think has studied a degree and the only place you're going to be is in law. But that's not necessarily true, because as a lawyer, you understand the laws that govern the IT
environment,
a lot better than anyone else. So you bring a different perspective than the technical guys would. So you have to think about what are those transferable skills that we can bring in. Some of them are technical, and some of them are what we call the soft skills. Like maybe the technical guys might be the one. Like maybe you are more like people oriented, like me, which means maybe you bring in stakeholder management into the play. So you're bringing in your legal expertise, plus you're bringing in stakeholder management, and maybe you can be able to talk to everybody and then make sure that like your security actually meets everyone's requirements, or whatever you're implementing adds to the user experience, for example. So definitely not a lost case if you haven't studied there. You just need to be able to find the right opportunity, because it is harder to just apply for a job. So when you're branding yourself, you want to brand yourself in the way that you want people to see you. You may be good at a lot of things, but what is it that you want other people to see about that one facet in your life? I tell this to people all the time when they say they want to write on LinkedIn. I'm like, do people really want to hear about IT governance from you?
Yeah.
Maybe what they want to learn is how or did you navigate from moving from law to
security.
Security. Maybe that's the thing. And that's what you should be talking about.
Oh, I see. Interesting. Okay, to wrap things up, and I know we can speak for hours because we've been meaning to have this conversation. My last question would be like, what would be your, like, the best word of advice that you've ever received, and what do you take from that? Like, what would be your best advice to anyone that's still starting up and that wants to climb as high as you have, and at such a young age, which is impressive, by the way?
I think that's a difficult question. I think the best advice that people have given to me is probably when they have the confidence in me to take on very challenging tasks, and they say, I know you have this, and then that's it. Okay. But the advice that I would give to people is very similar. I want you to be audacious. I want you to step into rooms that you've never thought you would step into. I mean, if I had to tell you about my beginnings and even the way that my family conducts themselves around certain people, they will always see themselves as less than because of how you've the socioeconomic environments that you grew up in. I never thought I would be in this world. I often feel like I'm playing in this world that I shouldn't be in. But I'm audacious enough to say I belong in this world.
I relate to that, definitely.
And I'm audacious enough when I post on LinkedIn, you get some people that will, laugh at you. They laughed at me because they just see me as this girl, as a friend, right?
Yeah.
They don't see me as a thought leader. But there's so many other people that see me as a thought leader. Definitely. So I was audacious enough to take that step. I was audacious enough to apply for the positions. I was audacious enough to approach a CEO and say, I have an idea that nobody is listening to me, but I have an idea. I just need your support and let me run with it. I was audacious enough to do that. So if you just have that audacity to say, let nobody ask you, I can't believe you had the audacity to do that.
Oh.
Right? Have that audacity.
Yeah.
Because people who are quiet and sit back and reserved are not going to go anywhere. Definitely. It's the people who are audacious enough, who has that audacity to say, I belong in here. That's how they get to the places they want to get to.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you so much, Sandika. And to add on to that, I remember the first episode I did of exploring this series. I had an interview with someone called Tolofelo. He passed away a year ago or 2 years ago. But when I first had the first interview with him 2 years ago, and he just told me I shouldn't hide myself when I come to a place. Hence why I just started being more confident to ask these questions to people like you, and also to put myself out there on LinkedIn and this different sports. And I've been getting this type of same feeling that you might have described now, being seen by everyone and people seeing that I actually do more than just take pictures. So I really appreciate that, and thank you so much for that conversation.
Thank you for the discussion. I really loved it.
Cheers. Thanks. Make sure you subscribe and tune in to the next one.